Okie dokie, so this is a regular printer with edible ink in it. To print the edible image, I just put the images into Word and then print them onto edible paper like you would any other regular picture. The edible paper I'm using is like an icing sheet. They come with the acetate backing and I just cut them out using a scalpel. These images here are for some cupcake toppers, and because the paper is pretty thin, you can't just put them straight onto a cupcake. Well, you could, but they would get all like wrinkly and droopy. So instead, I'm going to pop them onto some fondant. I'm using edible glue to attach them to the fondant, but you could just use water. I like to use the glue because it smells nice and because it's less wet than water, so it just tends to dry a bit better. I then cut them all out again and pop them aside to sort of set a little bit. Also, my edible image printer is only used and has only ever been used for edible images. You can't just put normal ink in and then swap it out when you want to do edible images, because then you're just going to have real ink, like residue all in amongst there, and you don't want that. Anyway, now I've made my toppers. I set those aside and I'm going to decorate the cupcakes. I've got some vanilla velvet cupcakes and I'm doing the color scheme to match. So in the first piping bag, I did some sort of like a teal and white buttercream, and then obviously the orange. I also added this edible glitter, and it's really hard to see on camera, but it made them all nice and sparkly. And then all that was left was to pop all of the images on. So obviously half got the orange record and the other half got the album cover. And there you have it. They're all done. They're looking very cute. And that, my friends, is how I put edible images on cupcakes.